So today I wanted to talk about what I learned about kettlebells over the lockdown period, because it was one of the only pieces of equipment I had access to, because one, it takes up very little space, and two, they're relatively cheap compared to buying a barbell and weights. Now, of course, I'm going to talk about the main 6 exercises. I learned how to do swings, learned how to do cleans, learned how to do my presses, my squats, my Turkish Get Ups, and so on. And later on in the video, I'm going to talk about some of the exercises which helped really open my eyes to how versatile kettlebells can be, and that you don't really need super heavy kettlebells for a good period of time, because you can really do a lot of different exercises that you wouldn't have originally thought of if you had just focused on the main 6 exercises and not tried something else. But with the main 6 exercises, I think those will definitely help you and build a really good foundation for you. I found that when I started doing a lot of swings, especially doing one-arm swings, that a lot of the back pain that I might have had started to go away because I started moving my body in a correct way. I started being able to fire my glutes correctly, and especially doing it with one arm, it helped build up my core strength so that my lower back started feeling a lot healthier. And so that's one of the main benefits I found from kettlebells. Another thing is when it comes to doing kettlebell presses, that I found that when I went back to the gym and started doing military presses, that my bottom range from the start became a lot stronger, and that my triceps were starting to fail when I got the bar above my head, when I started getting really heavy, but that my first initial push was actually really strong, and I think that's because the kettlebell presses help move your shoulders through that bottom range, and so it builds up some very strong shoulders. And snatches I found to be one of my favorite exercises because of just how explosive it is, and it really helped build up my love for doing exercises where you get the weight above your head. So military presses, snatches, all of those good exercises started to really feel really good, because just throwing a weight above your head and catching it feels really good. And then I never did too many Turkish Get Ups because of my knee problems, but after doing a lot of work on my knees and rehab, I'm starting to be able to do them again. I'm still a little shaky on them, but they were definitely good exercise, and they're one of the exercises that can cover your full body. But those are just the main exercises, and there's a lot of other exercises that you can do with a kettlebell that I don't see a lot of people ever do. So here's just an outside swing. This one's a really good exercise for helping build that rotational strength, as well as your ability to change direction when you're running, because you really load up one hip and you explode from it. And another one to build rotational strength, build up your core a lot, is doing outside and inside pendulum cleans. And with kettlebells, I think after a little while you start getting bored of just doing swings and cleans in one plane of motion, and it's good for your brain in general just to start spicing it up and do different types of exercises. And say if you're going to try this exercise, there's only one little thing I'd say is try not to hit your knees, so make sure that you're doing it controlled and that you're aware of where the kettlebell swings. This exercise came from heavy club swinging, but it's definitely very beneficial to do it with a kettlebell. And then another thing to do with kettlebells is start throwing in exercises together and start creating kind of monster kettlebell exercises. So here's one where you can throw it into a waiter's catch or a waiter's hold. So you're basically holding the kettlebell up like a waiter would, and then you throw in with a back lunge. And it really helps build up the stability in your shoulder as well as improving your grip. The instability from the lunge really forces you to hold onto that kettlebell tightly. Now a lot of these exercises have just been with stationary feet, and I think once you start considering that you can actually move and jump with a kettlebell, it really opens your eyes to a lot of other exercises you can do. These I call gunslingers, and I think they're extremely useful to start getting you ready to start moving, especially if you had a knee injury. It starts building your confidence to start moving and moving fast, and also builds up a good gait cycle. And here is another exercise coming from the inside and outside cleans, and it really helps build up your ability to change direction, especially moving your feet correctly, because it forces you to move your feet correctly basically, so that your rotation is correct, so that your feet don't lag, and so it helps build up your knees so that they're able to change direction. And then throwing in the concept of doing the walks like a gunslinger, but you do it with a clean. And this is another great exercise, one because it helps build up your hips in a nice rotational pattern, because a lot of times you aren't just moving backwards and forwards, you're having to change direction, you're having to load up your hip and drive off from that loaded hip. And so this is a good way to build up your hip in a nice diagonal motion, and also it's a good way to just build up conditioning because you can just do it for a long time, and you have to really force yourself to keep going and keep moving. And of course you can start throwing in your jumps now once you start getting used to moving with your feet off the ground. And then this is probably one of the most explosive exercises you can do with a kettlebell, because you're really just jumping off the ground. It builds up coordination with your hands, it builds up good timing and rhythm with your hips and your legs, and it's just one really good exercise, especially because you don't have to use too much weight, yet you get a lot of stimulus. And the last exercise I wanted to show was this one of the very hard exercise because of how much you have to focus, as well as how fast you have to move in that twist, and also helps strengthen your body up in many planes of motion. And I think it's one of the really good exercises to build up your coordination and your ability to change direction again. So let me know what you thought of this video, and if you liked any of these exercises or it gave you any ideas for exercises, and if you would like any more explanation on how to do any of the exercises in this video. Anyway, like and subscribe and whatever. I'll see you next time.